Hey guys, welcome back. Hope we had a good Tuesday, May 25th. Wow, what a day. This chart did not fail to deliver. No, but seriously, I don't know who the original poster of this chart was, but shout out to him. Sorry, I'm pretty deep in there at this point, but this was on Reddit. Not Wall Street Bets. Not a whole lot going on there anymore as far as GME goes. Super stock is good. GME or DD into GME, and then just GME. Those ones are they have all the good DD. And the failed to deliver has been talked about for a while now. This guy just made a nice chart, and I just was like, I need to save this and look at this thing and study it. And so yeah, that's what we did. And here we are, May 25th, and you can see this is when he made it, which this was our screenshot or our thumbnail basically on a video from like a week or so ago, and we talked about it then, and yeah, it looked interesting to me, so I just kept an eye out for it. But it's always in hindsight. I mean, you might see a chart like this every day and it's always not working, but this one seemed pretty spot on with the failed delivers. And the T35, we didn't really get much of a move, which was yesterday. I'm not sure if he accounted for proper holidays and business days, or basically trading days. I think it is, but sometimes it could be off a little bit. But I think this one's correct. But as you see, today is May 25th, and that's 21 days from the 26th, which is the settlement period for the failed to delivers, I believe, on the options. Something like that. And each day, each time we have that failed delivery, we have a lot of price action. And as you see, it typically goes for about 2 days, and then it kind of settles down. So we've got it this day, ran up big, and then kind of settled down in that range. And same with here. Today's bigger though. Today's bigger than this last one, and maybe even this one. We're gonna compare it. But shout out to this guy that put this chart together, so dumb people like me can look at pictures and understand what's going on a little better, maybe. Yeah, so we were up pretty good today on GME. The resistance that I was kind of calling out was like 219. Didn't quite get to there. We had call options. We'll go over those in a minute, though. We'll just look at kind of what I'm thinking for the future of GME, short term and long term. So if you look on just on the daily chart here, I put a video up earlier today talking about volume and how really we're just waiting on volume. And once we see some serious volume, then I think the squeeze will have started. Until then, it's failed to delivers or hedge funds doing stuff or whatever. And the serious volume that I am wanting to see is a change from like this to this, where basically the volume looks almost non-existent prior. So these were good volume days. It was 14 million, 7 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. The volume on these days wasn't bad, and if you go back here, you can kind of see, yeah, I mean, it looks good until you get to like a proper volume day. It's like, wow, okay, there's nothing. Then this day was 143 million. To give you an example of, and this I think was a failed to deliver. No, January 13th. No, this was not one of them. However, let me see, is this? Yeah, that's it. So, but yeah, let's go over those dates real quick. But yeah, so the volume that I'm seeing so far, it looks good compared to what we've had. I mean, it's a nice bump. You know, we've had a lot of low days, and then this is a nice change. Do I think this is the beginning? Not yet. I don't think it's the beginning yet, but this could be the beginning. That makes sense. This to me is not confirmation that this is beginning, but this could be. And I think in the next 2 days we will know. If the volume increases substantially tomorrow and it doesn't follow the same pattern we've had on these other failed to delivers, then I think this is the beginning. And I think the beginning will probably start with a gamma squeeze. So if you see the other days, April 26th, ran up, came up a little bit, and then settled in the range. Same with March 25th. If it doesn't do that tomorrow and it just kind of keeps coming up, so imagine this candle, and then this candle was also just green and closed up here. So then I'm going to assume on Thursday, which is the next day, it's going to probably create a gamma squeeze, which then I'll think it's the beginning, because that will also be along with a lot of volume. If we have all that green price action, they're going to go hand in hand. So if we look at, now the day's over, we can look at the daily chart. So the last failed to deliver on the T21 was April 26th, which is right here. So yeah, we're seeing more price action today than the last one, and it goes along with the volume. That was 9.5 million. Today we're at 14 million. So not bad, almost double, like 1.5 times. And this is a good looking candle. And then the next one, or the one before that, was March 25th, which is here. This one we had a lot more price action. However, this was after their earnings, and it just dumped. So this was a failed to deliver along with a support bounce, just like a heavy bounce off support. So it kind of had a double catalyst there, where it was dropped so heavily, and I just thought it was an epic bounce at that point. I wasn't really looking at the failed to delivery dates and thinking this is also FTD date, but yeah, so that's how that played out. And if you look at the volume, this day is 50 million. So, 14 million today is good. It's much better than we've had figure this out, I guess, since April 14th. So most volume since April 14th. And on April 14th, look, it took more volume for less price action. That's indicative of not many shares available and basically just buying pressure, hardly any selling pressure. Anytime we get volume, you can see it. All these days, it's green, 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 green. So you can imagine once we get 50 million, 100 million, 200 million in volume, how much price action we will see. And yeah, we're not there yet. Tomorrow we will see though. And I think that was, yeah. And then if we go back February 24th, January 15th, I mean, back here the volume just gets crazy. So this day, this was 67 million. Can we compare that? Let's see. Yeah, so that day was a little bigger. That day in February 24th. That was actually quite a day. And then this one, it ran up a lot more the next day before it settled down. And then if we look at the first one that's on this chart at least, January 15th, but that's a T35. Not too sure. This was a longer settlement. I think this one got jumbled because the tweets and everything that happened that kind of changed the date on it. They kind of pushed it, I believe. And I think that chart is actually showing that. But yeah, you can see the volume back here, 195 million, 175. Close to 200 million on these days. So we're looking more for that. And it could come tomorrow. It might not. If we see, let's look at the second day volume. That'll help us realize. This is 224. This was the biggest failed to deliver one we've had. Volume that day was 67 million. The next day was even greater at 147. So way more volume on the second day. And that's why it had such a big run up, although it did settle back down. And March 25th, this day. So this day we had at 9.4, and then that day 8.8. So similar volume for that one. Or no, yeah, it's April 26th. Whoops, March 25th. March come before April? Okay, here, March 25th. And then that day, yeah, similar volume, a little bit less. So that's kind of what I'm predicting for tomorrow. Similar volume, maybe 12 million, and probably a big run up, and then kind of a settle down, and maybe settle around this 200 range. We'll probably be fighting that. Support, I'm gonna put it about 188 for the remainder of the week. Resistance, if we don't break out into a gamma squeeze, let's see, maybe this 210, maybe this range right here. So yeah, that's kind of my idea for the next few days. I'd like to think that this is early in the week and this is just the beginning of a huge gamma squeeze, but I'm trading options, so I don't have the luxury of gambling like that. I've lost enough money doing that, and I'll take profits. As far as shares, doesn't really matter. Buy your shares and enjoy the ride. Wait for that volume. Today, us trading. Let's see. I closed out. I had naked calls. They were too far out of the money though. Unless if this actually does start a gamma squeeze. If this starts a gamma squeeze, I'm gonna be so sad. But no, I can get back in with a debit spread. But I had 8 naked calls for 360, and these things have been down a lot. I bought them into the FOMO. Shouldn't have done it, but I did. And I wasn't patient when I bought them. And I'm gonna show you the price that this thing. Here's the chart of the actual option. This can show you. So when I bought it, let's see, 525 was it? Yes, no, that's yesterday. So I bought it on this hype right here. I spent, I think, 70 something, so right around here. And that day, that was the 24th, that was yesterday. And remember, it's just basically settled down. If you buy it when it's volatile and hype, you're gonna pay a huge premium. So that thing has been down a lot. It was down 40% all day today until you can see up here. Those toughed me down 40% on, $600 worth of calls. And that's just because they were too far out of the money. And I bought in at a bad time. But they wouldn't have been crushed so quickly by IV if I'd bought closer to the money. If I got closer to the money, they would have been a lot more expensive. But yeah, then you see here at 2 o'clock, then these things started to make value. I sold them somewhere on this candle. So I sold half, and then I was like, I should just sell all of them. I can always buy back in. And so that's what I did. I sold half and then went to the other half. My exit on it, I kind of saw that engulfing candle. I was looking at the 5-minute. Saw this tail, then I saw this one. I saw this engulfing candle, basically, where it's a larger red candle. MACD hadn't crossed over. Everything else looked pretty good. I mean, MACD kind of ticked down, but I thought we could still consolidate and bull flag, kind of like it did here. Then this one opened up, and then I'm like kind of waiting for it to bounce a little bit to sell it, and then by the time it got to here is when I sold it. And so I lost some in there, but you can't time the top or the bottom. That's just how you lose money. So anyways, we got out. It was better I sold it here even. So it's better even I sold at the bottom of this candle, or even in this range, than here. Because from this time to this time, they lost value. Because the sentiment went down. They were thinking from here to here, they thought 360 is much less likely from here to here, because it stayed flat and it didn't have any price action. So sold those naked calls, and then what else did we do? Bought to cover. Oh, I closed out of the credit spread. So I had a credit. No, actually, I just sold the. Confusing, man. I just sold the naked calls, and then I opened a debit spread for tomorrow. Or for Friday, 240, 250 debit spread. So that costs 246, and the max profit's 1754 if it closes above 250. GME closes above 250 by Friday. So if this is like the other failed to deliver, basically little run-ups, I will close this out tomorrow, hopefully near the top before it settles back down. If this is the beginning of a gamma squeeze, this will definitely get max profit, and I will hopefully have averaged into something more debit spreads for Friday, maybe even some naked calls, because with a gamma squeeze, even if the premium's 500, it could go up to 1,000, but it's going to probably be safer to do debit spreads if we are having a gamma squeeze, and that's probably what I'll do. But it's hard to know at this point. This credit spread's looking good though. As a put credit spread, basically GME has to close above 187.5. Is risking quite a bit, 1,100 or 1,600 max profit. It says it's worth about $1,000 now. It's there's a big spread on it, but that one I will also be closing tomorrow if I think that we're going to settle back down tomorrow. Shares, I'm not selling my shares, even though I could, and I've actually thought about it, and I'm like, I'll just hold them. It's fine. I'm a trader, but in multiple senses of the word, if I sold my shares. So for now, I'm gonna keep them, even though I could probably do something with them. But I'm not gonna trade with the shares at this point. I'll just use options, and I'm happy with that. I want to start scaling out of shares once the price is ridiculous. I want to sell like one share that'll pay for a lot of stuff, and then sell another share that'll pay for even more stuff, and so on and so on. So that's my GME thesis. I didn't do anything else in the market today. SPY came down. Actually, I bought a put on, I'll show you guys the performance we did. Today we're up, it says 2,500. I suppose, yeah, because I have some unrealized gains in there too. So not all that's realized though. But it's crazy to see green this account again. I bought SPY puts, which I've been getting wrecked on SPY lately. 410 for, I gave myself till, well, I think Friday. Yeah, look at that. I gave myself more than 1 day expiration. Aren't I cautious? I think what else happened today. Long term, still there. Our Airbnb shares left our E-Trade finally, so now they're in the long term. And yeah, not much else is going on with this account. Lots of DD to read if you are into that, or you can just look at the volume and wait for that if you're playing options. If you're not playing options, you're playing shares, you can just wait for a big red day and buy more. It's basically that easy, I think. Not much else to it. But hopefully this is the beginning of a game of squeeze and then something else. We'll see. Brian Cohen's tweet. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff, but I'm not gonna get into it. You guys see the price action there. You see the chart. It looks good. We are set. Look to kind of trade in this range maybe the rest of the week, or if tomorrow breaks out of that pattern where it buys up, goes up, and then settles. If it doesn't do that and we close higher, like 240, 250 tomorrow, I will be heavily invested in GME options for this Friday and probably next Friday. Please don't let me get FOMO though. I only want to do it when it's settling down. Don't want to do it when it's running. You don't want to do it here or here. You want to do it here and here. Okay, thanks so much for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. Follow us on Twitter at HappyMoneyYT. And jump on our Discord. We're discussing quite a bit today on Discord. A good resource. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace out.